recording button, because if I don't hit that button, nothing is saved, nothing is preserved. Oh man! All right, let me get my notes open too, because it wouldn't be a stream without me opening my notes at the last second. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander, and the host for tonight's events, Along the Frontier, an Alien RPG campaign, Episode 4, For the Glory. I am the Game Mother, which is kind of a silly title, but I find it amusing in certain ways. With me, of course, are my three players, Rodance, Luke, and Kane. So let's take a quick moment and check in with them and see what's new and exciting. And I am totally not, while they're doing that, feeding my new young horde of facehuggers. They are growing, though. At any rate, Rodance, what's new and exciting for you, my friend?
Well, I remember to make food before I sat down, so this will be fun. But I have decided that because I'm too lazy to cook, it's cheaper to just buy pre-made meals than it is to eat out. So I'm currently eating pre-made meals that come in a box 12 at a time. I'm just going to be rolling with that for like the next month or two because I'm just tired of dealing with food.
In fact, yes. Thanks you for your contribution to their profits.
Yeah, I know, right? But at a certain point, you're like, okay, I want vegetables that I don't have to go out and eat or buy 100 different kinds just because I don't want to eat broccoli or green beans every day.
Yeah, no, having a little bit of variety is definitely the way to go. Pardon me while I finish setting up my phone and whatnot, because I have to have things a certain way. I don't always see what's going on the one monitor, so I gotta have my phone in front of me so I don't miss the chat messages. And even between the two, I still tend to miss chat messages from time to time. Yeah, Thatcher is definitely appreciative of your support. Not that I know anything about them. I definitely don't deliver them anything. Anything else?
Let's see. My house was not on fire. My brain was lying to me today. The glories of long COVID messing up your sense of smell. It's great.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yep. Honestly, I'm happy that if that's the only thing I have to deal with, that I got lucky. Frankly, I've heard so many horror stories of people who had lingering symptoms. Like, I can hold down a job. I just occasionally have a nose that acts up.
They used to.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I avoided being buried 6 feet under or cremated, so that's definitely a win, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, yes, I was highly looking forward to the game today.
Well, that's good. I as the GM, always love to hear my players say things like, I can't wait to play again.
And I did go find a link because I just read a comment in the last week or two about somebody confusing RPG rocket-propelled grenades versus role-playing games. Not the first time I've heard that phrase today, or phrase this week.
They're both very distinct things that have very specific purposes, and they are not at all interlinked except when your RPG uses RPGs. Like this one.
Yep. Well, that's all I got for
going to have a merging in this game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Luke, what's new and exciting for you, my friend?
Well, not cremated, and I had short COVID, so I mean, pretty good. But having had to explain to a coworker what it is that we do here was probably the highlight of my last 2 weeks.
Well, the way you explained it before the show started didn't sound like a highlight. It sounded more like a low light.
Well, having to explain to them that I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then it going downhill very fast, it was a highlight considering my job, and my predisposition to comedy and making things go into certain circles. Point being is, he's like, well, what do you do? And we're like, we're on a show. Oh, you're like on TV? No, we're doing a game on Twitch. She's like, what's Twitch? It's a place where people watch people play video games or board games. He's like, why would anyone do that? Well, that's an interesting question right there.
Cough, football.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she didn't just do that 2 days after the big football game of the year.
Why would people watch other people do things?
I know, right? He didn't get it, and it was okay. But other than that, pretty much just doing the things, excited for the game. I was reading up more about what the little maneuvers that we're going to be doing today, and hoping I don't get face
Maneuvers?
hugged.
Who said we're doing
Yeah.
maneuvers today?
Well, I'm gonna hopefully do some maneuvers that I read in the book. I now know
You
how
think
cover
you're gonna
works.
have the option? You're gonna be rolling panic rolls here real soon, buddy. Don't listen
As
to
if
me.
I haven't started. As if I haven't started already doing those.
That's fair. There were a couple of panic rolls last week, and actually, that brings me to a quick topic I wanted to bring up that I let myself forget about. Previously, my intent was to do experience point awarding at the end of each session, and in theory, one would think that when you're awarded experience points, you can more or less turn right around and spend them. Unfortunately, if we did that, we'd end up with some very super powerful characters, very super fast, if they don't die. And also, it goes against, I believe, the intent of the book, which that I think you would still get the points per session. The idea being, in general, you finish a mission per session, but our sessions are not going to run that way. So what I think we'll end up doing, and makes more sense both with what we're doing and the intent of the book, is after a mission is when you'll actually have the time to do those between mission expenditures of it. Like, it's always so hard to say. Spending XP, because you're not going to have the downtime needed. And you need like a full shift to learn a skill or increase a skill or learn a talent. So theoretically, you could on a mission, but not necessarily. So, but at any rate, we will do experience points at the end of each session, and then whatever you have at the end of the mission, if your character is still alive, you can spend them.
So if I keep doing the hug the dirt with the Leland, I believe, I might be able to get it during this mission. However, it's probably one of those things where I'm gonna have to get drilled out.
Did you? We made that roll last week. Didn't I thought you did?
Several times.
And we still didn't. We ran out. There wasn't enough time. So yeah. So you won't get it until you complete that roll, and the next time you'll be able to roll for that will be between missions. So once this going to the glory, finding the flight box, flight recorder, whatever, surviving, probably get shot at by a bunch of not really Russians, but they might as well be.
Pike is never going to get another talent.
Anyway, we got a little divergent there. Luke,
you misunderstand. I will get the talent and I will teach it to Pike.
There you go. Yeah, because you guys are buddies.
I don't think we're interested in the same talents, though.
Probably not. Luke, did you have anything else before we move on?
No, that was pretty much everything.
I just realized I am not at all framing my face in the picture too well here. I'm like off in the corner, slumped over in my chair. Kane, what is new and exciting for you, my friend? Besides the ride you took on a Thursday not long ago.
Oh, I mean, I rode an ambulance.
I didn't want to force you into that one. I also didn't want to throw you out there in it. But you did ride in an ambulance the other day.
Yeah, not as a guest and not as staff, definitely as a patient. Where my body's incredibly fast metabolizing of drugs was very inconvenient for my pain management.
I see.
They offered me morphine, and I burn morphine fast enough. I get no effect from it. And
how do you...
They put me on fentanyl, and it reduced my pain for 3 minutes.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I have no idea what mechanism does it. My sister tells me that I have amazing kidneys and a liver, but I don't know. But
those deal with removing impurities and not, if I understand it right, not so much with metabolizing.
I don't know how it works. I just know how quickly
yeah, I got
things.
you.
I'm also that guy that, like, when they're coming off of anesthesia,
yeah,
as soon as they start lowering the dose, I'm immediately awake and full aware.
Oh man,
there is no anesthesia recovery. I burn that off.
Jesus, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's if anybody ever wanted to kidnap me and use anesthesia to keep me down, I'm escaping that bitch. But it also means that I have to tell them before I go into a surgery.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they up the dosage to keep me down, so I don't wake up while they're
nobody wants
wrist deep in my body.
Yeah,
just like tape the chloroform band of like cloth around.
Chloroform
your face
actually.
so
I forget. I think it was a biology teacher. God, I almost said biologist, by the way. Thanks for that Warhammer in cut there. Chloroform takes a lot longer than the 4 or 5 seconds you typically see on a screen. It's actually dangerous to breathe that much. Also, give me one quick second. My son is hanging in the periphery, wanting my attention. So give me just a quick second here, guys.
Yeah, it was an adventure.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It was kind of a miserable one, but it's over.
Yeah. What do you just have like no body below the neck? Like it's just all pain.
All pain. All
I mean,
pain,
I
all
guess-
the time, right here on the
Did
Omar
they
Creed
patch you
channel.
back up?
So I mean, I guess there's flip sides to this, right? Like the drugs run through me really fast, but on the flip side, because of injuries sustained when in my younger, dumber years, I'm always in pain anyways. So I have a lot of practice at being in pain. So
So
I don't
your pain
know.
scale doesn't even start at 1 or 2. It's like at 4 or 5, and it's nothing less.
I mean, I'll like run into things or get stuff dropped on me or whatever, and it doesn't make it past the ambient level of pain, and I don't notice. So
The ambient level of pain, a new term I never thought I would have heard.
I understand that problem. I have
do get it.
versions of that as well.
I know I'm not alone.
Yeah. I have these. I get horrible bruises all the way up and down, like the sides of my legs, from my knees to my hips, and on the outer edges of my arms, because I don't notice when I bump into things. So I constantly have little, like the really nasty little bruises from like jabbing yourself on the corner of things or
I have that.
slamming your elbow into things. I don't feel them. So I'm like, oh, I'm getting changed. I'm like, oh, this is new.
I have something similar. I have something similar, and by similar I mean, I also cut corners short when I'm like going around the corner of my truck, and so the tailgate will catch the side of my calf, and I'll notice it. I'll feel it. I'm like, son of a bitch, that's gonna leave a mark, but I'll forget about it, even though it kind of stings and burns or whatever for like an hour or two, because I'm not gonna do anything about it unless I'm like bleeding profusely, which never happens. Until I take a shower later that day or the next morning, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I did clip the corner of the truck the other day.
I just want to add something about my wheat. Is after they removed the tooth, and that whole infection was gone, I did say that some of the things were starting to like heal a little bit differently. Apparently, the tooth infection had caused nerve damage, and that's why my back was hurting. Full recovery later, like what is it now, 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think so.
So I fell on a flight of stairs and like walked away from it. And anytime before like the tooth removal, I would have just been like, I'm gonna die here.
This is where I live until I die.
This is it. It's over.
Yeah, like falling down a flight of stairs was like, okay, well, this really, really sucks, but I'm just gonna like ride the whole way down and just hope for the best. And then my roommate runs over and I'm already up. I'm like, okay, how am I up already? And he was really upset because he was like, did you either A, throw the trash bag down the stairs, or B, fall down the stairs? Either way, I'm angry. In like French, right?
Angry Frenchman.
Okay. Yeah, so he was rather upset because it was B, I fell down the stairs, and he's like, are you okay?
That's crazy. All right, let's get started here. We're like almost 15 minutes in.
I'm sure we can come up with another couple of stories if you want.
No, I'm sure every one of us can, and I am easily distracted and also easily amused. So let's not. Otherwise, we'll never get into actually playing the Alien RPG that we're supposed to be doing right now. We opened with a bit of a montage of the last episode's main events, silenced for creative reasons. I don't know why. Maybe it's in black and white, too, like some shows do. There's a briefing on the hangar deck given by a general. Another briefing sometime later in a briefing room with a hollow projected image of a stretch of jungle. A Cheyenne dropship slipping away from the Tambatam, and an interceptor attacking that Cheyenne and killing the flight team. And then we see Sergeant Pike struggling against building G-forces to get to the cockpit. The Cheyenne in a flat spin, but then eventually coming out just in time to slam into a rise in the ground and slide the dropship into the dirt. I believe I made an analogy to, wiping out on your bike. Describe that scene. Miraculously, everyone is alive except for the flight crew, but as they begin to extract themselves, they are attacked by people on the ground, RPGs and assault rifles. And then our recap closes with the image of Sergeant Pike rushing a man to point-blank range, the man dropping his rifle in surrender, only for Pike to end his life with a quick motion with a survival knife. The show proper opens. Full color. We hear sounds. We hear birds. We hear all the things you would hear in a tropical jungle. Probably somebody cussing every now and again. We see the team moving in more or less single file through a rough patch of jungle. One of them in the lead, followed then by Sergeant Pike and a civilian, barely managing a large red barrel between them, followed by 2 more Marines holding a barrel. And then lastly, a Marine in the rear, all slowly trudging through a hot, damp, dimly lit jungle. Sweat can be seen running down the sides of people's faces and staining their clothing. It is hot. It is humid. There is no breeze. This is not a pleasure cruise. You're humping through the jungle, uneven terrain. Roots are occasionally sticking out and grabbing your leg. Maybe literally? I don't know. This is an alien world. Hostile nature of this jungle moon complicates things, as I've previously mentioned, and I've actually read this particular slide before, but burning hot gas giant fills most of the sky. The humid atmosphere is dense, supporting the rich growth of swamps and tropical forests under a thick jungle canopy that blocks something like 90% of the sunlight. A perpetual gloom beneath the canopy. There are some large, tall trees if anybody wanted to try to get to the top of them to get their bearings, but you have got a bearing to the transponder for the Glory, the ship that you were sent here for in the first place. And you've been following it, and now it's been roughly an hour since you actually started walking. Excuse me. And you think you have, from best guess, something like 4 to 6 hours more to go. And I just want to check in with the players and their characters and see what everybody's feeling at the moment.
I'm really just having Gannon help with stability, so it's not as awkward to carry. But it's clear that Pike is carrying the majority of the weight. It's just too awkward to carry by himself.
Goes back to those insurance comments we were making earlier. Insurance covering something like 80%. That's Pike carrying 80% of the weight.
Yeah. So Gannon's still sweating, but he's definitely got a much easier time than the split share behind him.
Split share behind him.
If I remember right, Leland and Warren were carrying the other one, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember. If you notice, I very specifically, only names I used was Pike and Gannon, because I knew Pike and Gannon were working together to carry one of those things. And I think that was mostly because Pike wanted to keep the civilian close by, because civilians have a tendency of dying in the middle of a military operation.
Yeah, so he's now attached to a harness, attached to me.
Yep.
So he can't get away from me.
Rodance,
what are your 2 crazies doing?
Well, one of them is my crazies are. One of them is in the lead.
Probably Wescott.
Just waiting to get no, actually, Wescott and Watts. Out of the 2 of them, Wescott is probably going to be in the back because Watts has a better strength and perception, so he's good at keeping an eye out forward and breaking the ground for the people behind him.
That makes sense. And Wescott needing to keep the troops generally focused in the right direction.
And I have to keep an eye on our back trail, so
yeah, that makes sense.
I'm probably relative, like there. I could see like Watts being a touch ahead. I'm a touch behind as our 4 barrel carriers are in the middle. Because frankly, if we set off a trap, we do not want to set it off next to the 2 high explosive barrels.
Yeah, we don't want the big 50-gallon barrels of high explosive gunk. I guess actually in this case, high explosive goo.
Death.
Yeah.
And we're keeping
high explosive phosphorously nastiness level. We might survive if only one person is in the front and hits with a trap. We will not survive if the trap hits the barrels.
Yeah.
We're keeping 10-meter spacing.
Yes.
You're gonna need more than that when you're carrying 100 gallons of this.
Oh no! Like if the
and I'm
PTC
not
touches off, we're all dead. That's so that if he steps on a mine, it doesn't kill me.
Yeah, because I mean, we could probably put the barrels in the middle together and then have him up front and I'm trailing behind, keeping an eye on our back trail and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
honestly, it would be very hard to cover up as we're going, but I'm just,
Okay.
kicking leaves over, making it not as quite as obvious.
And for the viewers, there will be a map thrown out onto the table here shortly, but for right now, we're in more narrative mode. Does anybody want to, like, obviously we're in the middle of trudging with some very heavy shit. Does anybody want to have a dialogue of any sort, or shall we move on?
Probably within the next hour, we're going to have to stop for a break just because lugging around humongous barrels of explosives is an issue.
Imagine, I don't know what this translates into Celsius, but imagine it's easily 90 degrees and probably 90+% humidity.
Yeah,
That's like 38, 40 Celsius.
Yeah, it's pretty toasty out there.
It's unpleasantly hot, humid summer and jungle and swampland.
Or generally speaking, the deep south, if you have that reference point.
I'm loosely aware of Celsius and Fahrenheit.
Pike plans to run the group until the other pair cannot go on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He plans to push until somebody's dropping from exhaustion.
Okay.
Does not. He knows we're going to already be moving slower just to hoof these barrels, and he does not want to get caught out by a patrol. He wants to get to the ship so we can get to cover and get rid of these barrels
and stop having to lug this shit around.
Yeah.
So if he makes that vocal, Winston and Warren are going to be okay with that.
Okay. All right. So this continues on for about another hour. There's probably a couple of times where somebody needs a 5-second stop, grab water out of a canteen, or maybe you have to stop and check your bearing. Can I get, and I'm not going to pick anybody, but can I get one of y'all to roll a 1d6 for me?
Okay.
5.
There we go.
Oh. All right.
Somebody made a panic roll?
I clicked on my character, and then it kind of double-clicked onto the stress, which was right there.
Okay.
Well, we got a 5. That was the die roll, right?
Yeah, I saw the die roll, the actual die roll on the screen. It's a 5. Let's go ahead and. I'm pretty sure. Shit, who is that?
We can clear his condition.
It's Warren.
It was Warren.
Way to go, Warren, Mister. I can't find my damn pants. Well, Warren doesn't have a panic condition on here.
Cool.
No.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's move on. All right.
Let's see what a 5 is.
He rolled a 6. That's why. It's only when you get a 7 or more that it becomes a problem.
Oh, okay.
So you guys take a moment to stop. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We rolled a 5. He got +1 for 1 stress.
Yeah. Yep. We're good. You guys take a moment to stop. It's a quick water break, and then you keep pressing on. You continue. You've been probably walking for about 2 hours at this point. Nobody's really keeping hard track of time. You're kind of basing it on how far the distance from the Gannon's PDAT to where the source of the transponder is, and you're guesstimating based on that literal linear distance about how long it'll take you. And that's how you kind of determine where you're at, unless somebody's actually paying attention to their watch, which I'm not going to be picky on. However, you do pass a patch of long, dark green vines dotted here and there with what kind of look like purple orchid-like flowers. And in the center of each flower is this like a dark orb eyeball kind of looking thing. And Warren, since Warren was the one that rolled, Warren, you swear to God, these eyeballs are following you. You're trumping along, trying to carry your fair share of the weight to this barrel. You look over, there's this green vine with these purple orchid flower thingies every so often along the length of it, and every one of them has an eyeball. You swear to God, it has an eyeball, and it's watching you. It's Mona Lisa-ing you.
All right.
I need Warren to add 1 more stress, by the way. Just stress, no panic.
Okay.
Also, if Warren wants to freak out or yell or say something silly about these stupid eyeball flower thingies looking at him, this would be a great time to do it.
No, he's gonna turn to Winston and be like, "Man, I think these things are watching me," and Winston is just gonna be like, dude, really? We're
What are
we're
you
in the middle of
smoking,
a
bro?
yeah, like we're in the middle of the woods. Of course, things are watching us.
Can I
What do you
hear
mean?
this?
I imagine. Well, you
They're
guys are like 10 meters
yeah,
apart, so
yeah,
probably.
probably loud enough. They're loud enough.
Yeah, we've established Pike knows O'Bannon's world.
Have we? I
We
don't
established
remember.
that earlier in the briefing when he was talking to Szymborski.
Uh huh.
Hmm.
Oh, they had you
Szymborski
heard that?
asked me if I was familiar with it, and I was like, "Yeah, the jungle will literally eat you." And he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I remember the conversation. I just don't remember all the details. Yeah.
See, I think Pike turns back and says, "They are watching you, and they will eat you.
I think
Oh,
that's
They'll
what
no.
touch
actually
you."
gives Warren the stress. It's not so much that he thinks they are. It's that
So I
Pike
confirmed it,
just
yeah.
confirmed it with a straight deadpan, no shit. Yeah, no, they are watching you, and fuck around, they will eat you.
Yeah, don't touch them, and if they're in our path, we'll want to incinerate them.
Can I get all?
Um,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You
go ahead.
see, Watts does like a little jig up front. He pulls out the fire grenades, puts it back.
Oh, are you gonna eat them? Okay. Can I get all 5 characters 1d6 rolls, please? You could type in /roll 1d6.
yeah, that's part for the best.
That way we don't have anything crazy. Mike gets a 5. Wescott gets a 6. Winston gets a 3. I'm not even. I just realized I'm not even showing these rolls to anybody. Amazing, amazing. Let me see. All right.
Do we need to roll for our minions?
Yeah, I need all 5, please. I don't know how well that looks on the screen. Winston got a 3. Winston got a 3. Oh, it's because you guys are logged in as your. I
Main
get it.
characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Watts
So
has a 1.
okay, Watts had the 1, and
Mhm.
Watts, who is he partnered up with right now? Or is
No
he up
one.
front?
He's in the front.
Watts, you look back briefly and kind of look at this weird exchange, I should say, between Pike and Warren, and it's just like, okay, whatever. Like, it's just one more thing to keep my eyes open for. And then, as you take your next step, you hear a metallic click.
Oh, he sounds off. He's like, freeze, or whatever the appropriate term is for everybody. Stop moving.
I think freeze is a very
Freeze.
appropriate moment or thing to say right now.
Yeah, freeze, freeze.
Watts is the Seaburn, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take a look over my shoulder, make sure everyone is stopped and nobody's moving their feet. Then we'll look over at Gannon and say, everything's good. I'm going to squat down here. I'm going to take the weight. And I'm going to probe the ground a little bit here before I put this barrel down. And then I'm going to need you to not move your feet. Remember, my boardroom is the suck. Don't move your feet.
What are we doing? Why are we freezing? And he immediately moves a foot. It doesn't move very far, but it's like visually noticeable that he moved his foot. Exact
Gannon?
opposite of what you just told
Yeah.
him not to do.
Yeah, Gannon, I'm just going to tell you this once. If you keep shuffling your feet before I tell you it's safe to, you could die. So if you want to live, don't move your feet.
Sweat is now pouring down his face.
Cool. And I squat and I pull out my combat knife and I start doing that like slide in the ground a little bit to see if I hit anything under the barrel.
Yeah. No,
and then
you're
I want
good.
to put the barrel down and take my weight off.
Yeah, you're good, and you can feel that it seems as though this is not a bad place to put this barrel. So now you can unload rather. Undump, Jesus, right up there with unthaw. Take off the barrel.
And I'll also be, while I've still got the barrel up a little bit, I'll probe the ground a little bit around Gannon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are any mines around
you're
Gannon?
not picking anything up around him.
Okay.
Your boy, on the other hand, who's that? That was Watts?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Watts. There's no doubt. You could feel, as you stepped, you heard the click, and you felt the give as your foot went down, like your full body weight went down. and you can feel under the sole of your boot. They're definitely, you can't tell if it's metallic or a rock, but it's something pretty solid. It's not the normal feeling of dirt or mud underneath your boot.
And it made a click.
And it definitely made an audible click. This was not
Right.
like some random gear bouncing off the side of your harness.
All right, everybody, Marines, this basic mind training. You all just watch me do it. That's your refresher course. I want everyone to check the ground around themselves. Do not probe aggressively.
Do
I'm
not
gonna
probe
work my-
aggressively, he says.
Watts, I'm coming to you.
Let me see. What is a good thing?
I actually
Anybody
don't remember what's.
moving needs a wits roll.
Can we make it an observation roll?
Sure, we can definitely do that.
Cool, because that's way more dice for me.
Because anybody for the guys that are, or for the Marines that are just poking literally around their position, they're not moving, they're just making sure they're safe where they are, they don't find anything.
Yeah, like, and I probably would go like, Kane, do you want me to go check him?
You mean Pike?
Yes, Pike. Good noon. Sorry, brain.
No
You've got
worries.
more ground to cover to get up there. That's more risk until we can figure out if it's a solo mine or more.
Okay.
I want to try to get him off the mine, and then we're gonna turn. You're gonna be taking point, and I want you to probe a retreat for us, so we can try to make sure we're clear of the minefield, and we're gonna take a different route.
You're gonna so you're gonna try to go back like 50 to 100 meters minimum, and then do like a wide dog leg,
Yeah.
and then get back on track. Okay, makes sense. Smart.
All right. So
It's almost
I'm
like
working
you've
my
done this
way to
before.
Watts. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Let me look at my. Let's see.
for the people that
So
didn't
with
see the
my
roll, he just
stunts-
got 3 successes. One is basically he gets the answer to the main question, and then 2 additional bonuses can be applied.
So for my 2 stunts, the first one I want to do is: are there more mines nearby?
I will give you, in the route that it took for you to get from your position to where Watts is, you did not encounter any more mines.
Are there like more mines around Watts?
Ooh, well, I kind of have to give you this
That's
one.
it.
So yeah. You're asking for is there more? Are they coming after me or whatever the heck that one is? Is there
Yeah.
more of them? There are a few more that if you take a quick second or two to actively scan your sector visually, you'll see a couple more where you can see the telltale sign of a solid object sticking up above the ground, or the above ground level by about an inch or two. And it's very clearly it's not a rock or a twig or something. You could see that, and you see a couple.
Okay. And then my second stunt is going to be: how do I get in past away? Is my plan to backtrack and cross out? Does that look like it's a valid plan?
It does appear to
avoid
be a
this
valid
minefield?
plan, yes.
Okay.
There might be a better option, but that definitely is a valid one.
Okay. So I'm on my belly. I've worked my way over to Watts.
The front of your chest is now covered in mud and brush.
Yeah, I mean, he's a sniper. He's used
Yeah,
to that.
he's like, yeah, whatever. So it's Tuesday. Got it.
Yeah.
It's literally Tuesday too. That's the funniest part.
All right, Watts, you're the Seaburn. I'm going to describe to you what I see. I'm going to pull some mud away from this.
Mhm.
And you're going to walk me through this. All right?
So, what skill? I'm assuming that would fall under
It's heavy machinery.
Yeah, it's heavy,
heavy machinery.
I
Okay.
am looking to see if I can find some stats really quick. So please do what you're gonna do. Let me switch the screen over. So time for rolls.
So I'm hoping I can get the aid another to get an extra die on my heavy machinery roll to try to disarm this mine below his boot.
Okay. So he is very chill, like unnaturally chill.
I mean, of all the
he
times
tells you exactly which foot it is, where it is, how much it gave within a reasonable, like half an inch estimate. The fact that after you creeping out, like he probably would have had time to eyeball things and see things eventually too, but he'd be very, very heavily focused on not moving at all. So,
No.
but yeah.
I'll carefully pull some mud away in little bits to expose a little bit so I can give him a description so he can go through the catalog in his brain.
Kane, are you familiar with what I believe off the top of my head, it's an M18 anti-personnel Claymore mine?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine what you're seeing is he has stepped on what looks like one of those facing upward, and it has been booby-trapped or otherwise modified so that instead of it being a command wire detonation, it's a pressure plate.
Okay.
Well, not plate necessarily, because he did he stepped on. Let's just make it simple. He effectively stepped on what could be considered to be the primer.
Okay. All right. So I describe it to him. We have this real calm exchange of information about what's going on beneath his boot. So I would like to roll heavy machinery.
Okay.
To disarm this.
I'll go ahead and
with
go ahead.
D8 another.
Yeah, and that's a +1, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a valid option there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got the one. Okay.
All right. I will give you this.
No
As
stunts.
you so just so that I'm tracking, you definitely went in with a not so much what exactly is this, but you also went in with the intent to disarm, or at least render safe for him to pull his foot off and all that. Correct?
Yeah, I'm separating the detonator so that
Okay.
when he releases the trigger, the circuit has nothing to detonate and it does not remove his leg in my head.
Yeah. All right. So as you make your way through this process, you're separating, the plunger primer that is what he actually stepped on to arm it, and you're removing all of the other machinations and wiring. And what you realize is that it should have exploded the moment he stepped on it, but for whatever reason it didn't. And as you get your way through the process of dismantling it enough for him to actually pull off, you realize that somewhere along the way, parts of the machinery corroded, effectively rusted away, for lack of a better way to explain it, so that 2 points of metal were supposed to make physical contact, and they cannot do it. Like, even within their range of motion, like maybe at some point they're supposed to touch like this, if you're looking at Zoom, and now the best they can do is just pass close by each other. So, effectively, this was a dud at this point.
Yeah, well,
10 or 20 years ago, it might have been effective as hell. But today,
it still has an explosive charge in it.
That it does.
So yeah, I do the work and I'm like, all right, Watts, moment of truth. Step off the mine.
Also, side note, I apologize.
I'm pretty sure he would give Pike the death glare of go back the fuck up.
I mean, if he doesn't say anything, Pike's the cocky
He
asshole.
glares first and then tells him to back the fuck up.
Right.
Everything looks good.
Mm-hmm. So Pike, so Watts waits for Pike to hit reasonable clear distance off of the presumed explosive device before he tries to slowly backtrack in his steps.
Yep. And as you're free and clear. As you step off, nothing happens. As I explained to Pike, I imagine Watts will take a look at it. You could see like everything is there that's supposed to be there, except for the part where the two connector plates, or whatever you want to call it, that were supposed to make physical contact with each other, the ends of both of them have corroded over time and no longer make the actual physical connection. So this particular method of detonation is broken. The explosive components still appear to be in decent condition as far as you can tell.
I'm debating if he wants a souvenir. Mine.
As the GM, I would say he could probably get away with taking the plunger part. The little, effectively the shotgun shell.
No, I'm talking about taking the Claymore and reusing it later, but no. I'm not taking 20-year-old Claymore that's prepared.
It's not a good idea.
Beat someone with it.
Even then, I don't know, man. I mean, it would be relatively inert without anything being, no electricity or contact shit going on. But yeah.
So yeah, he just slowly backtracks he's looking very carefully down, stepping in his footsteps, and then stepping in Kane's footsteps. And
is Kane walking at this point, or has he continued to low crawl out?
Oh, Pike's following the drag mark.
Following
he
his
made.
own drag mark.
Yeah, he knows that path is clear. So
Oh,
he's gonna follow
absolutely, it
his
is.
drag mark. Yeah.
Hmm.
So he's gonna walk back over to the barrel and clip himself back in and go, "Good shit, Gannon. Good shit."
Gannon hit the front of his shirt that wasn't covered by parts of the harness are now soaked, in addition to the parts of his shirt that were covered by the harness. So now, effectively, he is just soaked in pure sweat, and he is downing water as fast as he can out of one of the big water bottles he's got. He's probably got like a 1 liter bottle minimum. Well, that's, I mean, a 1 liter and 1
Gannon.
quart is about the same.
Gannon.
Huh, what? Huh? Ooh,
Okay, stop for a second.
What I do?
So you're gonna make yourself throw up.
I feel fine, actually.
You won't if you keep drinking that water. So go ahead and put it back in your pack. I know it feels good to drink a lot right now, but with
Oh
the
my god,
walking
you
we're
have
about to
no
do,
idea. Well, maybe you do, but oh my god, this is like, I want more. And it feels like this is the best water I've ever had.
he just like reaches over the barrel and puts a hand on his shoulder and says, I know how good it feels.
Let me tell you, tap water is fucking amazing when you're dying of, like, if you
Yeah.
just finish running, tap water at the right temperature is the best water. It doesn't matter. It can be water from literally anything.
Yeah. So,
But I tell you what, Gannon, you've seen that in our boardroom, they've tried twice and they've got nothing. So you can trust me when I tell you, you don't want to drink any more of that water right now. All right?
I don't know if you could claim the 20-year-old landmines, but go ahead.
He doesn't know that.
I really should make you roll manipulation, but I'm not going to.
yeah. So while they're dealing with that one, I will be checking the backtrack between me and the barrels to make sure there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, everything everything's fine. In fact,
Okay.
we can go ahead and, unless there's something else you guys
Okay.
want to do.
But
I
he's gonna-
shuffle
he's
through a
gonna-
pocket real quick. I pull out the generic granola bar and I hand that to Gannon, going, "You want one of these?"
Oh, I really want. All right, fuck it, I'll take it. Thank you.
I hand him the glorious. Actually, I'm debating.
Glorious
do
flavorless.
do I like him enough to hand him some chocolate covered coffee beans?
Oh, that's up to you to decide. Gannon nearly hasn't had any interaction with Wescott. He's thankful at this
I
point.
hand him the flavorless thing, and then I like stop for a minute, sigh, shuffle, pull out another foil pack.
What's this?
This
Why
will
are you-
help. It's got
Are you
sugar.
trying to fatten me up? He's trying to make it sound like a joke, but it's probably coming out a little bit weird because, stress and everything.
See, your
You'll-
humor's coming back, dude. He slaps him on the shoulder.
See, this here is called sugar and caffeine. It'll help balance out the flavorless of the granola bar.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I tell you what, we'll take more frequent water breaks for you, so you can pace it.
I would really
If
fucking
you,
take
if-
that's heavy. What is that, like 250 pounds easily, right? Like 50 times, I don't know, what's a gallon of water? Like 5 pounds? That's, I don't know if I feel like a gallon is the wrong unit of measure here.
yeah, and you know what? Like,
And it's a gallon of gel, not water, so it's actually heavier.
It's probably like 10 or 12 pounds.
and you know what? You're carrying your share.
I bet I am.
Yeah.
And he just looks over at you, at Pike, and he's just like, you motherfucker. But he doesn't say that part. He doesn't say that, but he's got a mouthful of chocolate-covered coffee beans or whatever the hell it was.
Hey, Watts, I want you to walk in front of Gannon and check for mines till we finish our backtrack.
I don't know. Bugs. I don't know if I like the way you just said that. Like, is he looking for the mines so I step on them, or is he looking for the mines so
No.
I don't step on them?
He's going to use his trained eyes to make sure that you're safe.
That does
That's
not
all that means.
give. You know what? I'm just gonna finish my beans and I'll be ready when you are.
I mean, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid you'd say that. And he says that very quietly, like that's muttered when he says that. He's also got this look of like, yeah, already.
All right. Lift on 3. And then yeah, we're gonna do the backtrack and we're gonna walk around.
All right.
Instead of
Yep.
Warren, I was just kind of standing there going like, we haven't dropped our barrel yet.
Yeah. They've just been like,
That's great.
somehow in tandem with this 55-gallon barrel, they just like poked knives into the dirt around them. Like, I guess we're fine. 180? Yeah, 180, man.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, I'm pretty sure Wescott have made it at that point to double check everything for them since
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't have maneuverability
Yeah,
strapped
yeah,
in.
yeah.
And Watts would be eyeballing stuff too. So we very carefully back out of the.
I need, did I mention that, did I give stress to Watts? It was Watts,
You
I'm
did,
sorry, not Watts.
no.
The one that saw the eyeballs.
Warren.
Yes,
He took his
got
stress, yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, you said that when Pike
was-
told him that it'll eat him, that's why he got the stress.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, yep, that's
Yeah.
right. Sorry, my short-term memory is not the greatest. I do need water checks.
Water checks.
Yep. It's
Joy.
that time again.
Oh.
Is it really rolling stress dice? Oh, it does roll stress
Don't
dice.
worry. Yeah, it doesn't affect our stress at all. It's just if you roll a face hugger, your supply goes down by 1.
Okay.
That's all it means.
All right. Is anybody absolutely
Yeah.
without water at this point? Well, that's 3 rolls.
Warren
so
is
far.
doing really well with water.
Warren's
Yeah.
probably not even sweating at this point.
So's Watts.
All right. Looks like the only
Everyone's
only
doing great on water.
Okay. All right.
Pike's a
I'm not
big
Winston
dude.
is a little low, but he should be fine for a little bit.
Yep. Okay. I'm not gonna make you check for food as well, just water, because it's a jungle. Literally, it's a jungle out there. Anybody? No? Nothing? All right, fine.
Hakuna Matata. We're
So you
eating
spend-
some pork.
Ow.
Yeah, I guess
That
we
was-
continue.
I guess that was a little more humorous to me than it was anybody else. But let's see. Yeah, you press on. It takes you probably about 30, 45 minutes to, well, depending on how far wide you want to go. But, probably no more than about a half hour or so before you get back on track. And, I mean, this stretch of jungle looks almost exactly the same as that stretch of jungle. It's just, presumably, there's no mines over here.
Yeah.
And it's probably another hour or two, and the sun looks like it's kind of starting to dip, maybe? Not really sure. You can't tell. It's all really shadowy, gloomy, not quite Mordor-y, and definitely hot and very humid. I need another 1d6 roll, please. From anybody.
Oh boy.
And if you roll a 5, re-roll it. Awesome. Well, that was 2 dice. Oh, 2 you roll. Well, I guess it's very obviously going to be a 6. Let's see.
Sorry,
What
mine
happens
was
to
rolling.
Wescott?
Well, this one actually. Here's the problem. By the time Wescott walks through this stretch, because I'm assuming Wescott's still in the rear, yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah. By the time Wescott hits this particular stretch of what looks like some slick petaled plants, Watts starts to complain of like his hands, like the backs of his hands, maybe random spots where the sleeves and pant legs get really tight against the skin. They all start to itch, like it's a burning itch. Everybody needs to make a stamina roll, please, because everybody has been walking through this stretch of slick petaled plants that are apparently coated in some sort of irritant.
I'm gonna push that. Jeez.
Ooh.
Okay, so Watts.
And you gotta
stamina's
roll
first.
stress now.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't
Yeah,
feel it. So.
yeah. Alright, so Pike failed. Watts is good. Pike is a failure.
I am so happy my stamina is wits based.
Watts-
Otherwise,
Watts
I'd be
is
rolling
like-
3 dice.
Watts was like, yeah,
that's
it kind
much
of
better.
itches. It kind of itches a little bit, but it's a weird burny itch, but I'm okay.
I think I'm going to push that one.
You're good. Wescott, you're good. You get the burny itch, but it's not debilitating in any stretch. Who am I missing?
Yeah,
don't think that's-
how do I roll stamina?
It's a skill.
Skill stamina. S.
It's one of the top 3
but-
because it's strength based.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That was Warren. Warren is fine. Oh, Winston, fail with a stress roll.
Mm-hmm.
Roll stress, please. This itchy burny shit is kind of stressing you out a little bit, to be honest. It's actually pretty frantic. It's like, it's one of those itches that just won't stop.
All
Uh-oh.
right, I'm panicked.
Yeah, well, this one isn't bad. Okay. That was for Winston. So your battle buddy carrying the barrel also increases stress by 1. So it was Winston and I want to say Warren.
Yes.
All right, so Warren increases his stress. Winston, your stress will automatically increase, so you don't have to worry about that. I just need Warren's to increase by 1.
Got it.
All right, so I am looking at Winston and Pike. This burning itch shit is really fucking bad. It's like incessant. No matter how much you scratch it, it doesn't help. And it's getting to the point where you might actually be breaking skin if you're not careful. You also need to increase stress plus 1 for those 2 individuals. So that's Winston and Pike both adding 1 more stress. And it's also starting to turn into a bit of a rash. Like you could see on exposed skin that the skin is turning red, and I don't want to say bubbly or anything silly like that, but it's like it is a bright, vibrant red.
Blisters.
Yeah, little micro blisters is probably the best way to phrase it.
Yeah. If you're allergic to,
I feel like Pike's the right kind of potato to not keep scratching at it, but it's still like stressfully obnoxious.
Oh yeah, and it won't stop. It absolutely refuses to stop. To the point where I'm actually gonna need Pike, if he wants to attempt to resist it, I need him to roll wits.
To resist itching it?
To resist the temptation to scratch. It's that bad. You can push
Very well,
that.
he's
That's scratchy.
I'll push it.
Hey!
Yeah.
It is one of those teeth grinding itches that you just like, no, I fucking know better. Don't fucking do it. If I scratch it, it'll get worse. Meanwhile, scratch it or not, it gets worse. Medic. You see a couple of your people scratching frantically, and you see Pike literally grinding his molars. For all
You
you
can
know,
hear it.
you probably could hear it if it were for all the birds and bugs.
I think Winston is also the one also being scratchy.
Oh yeah. Well, in
Yeah.
that case, Winston, yes. You might want to see if you have some sort of like anti-inflammatory itchy cream. There's a word, I can't find it in my head.
Antihistamine.
There you
Let's
go.
see.
That's probably it.
All I have is never sleep, never leave.
I'll just tell you,
medikits,
regardless of what that says, you have something in your kit.
and the personal medkits.
Yeah, you can make a medical aid roll to cross out this itch, but all the other stuff stays in place, like the stress and that. I mean. However,
Wait, do you call that? Do you say that you have medic stuff to do?
Because we're still
yeah.
walking at this point.
yeah, you're walking. Well, you might have stopped.
Pike's-
The itchy's getting
Pike's
really
not
bad.
calling. Pike's not going to call a halt.
Yeah, well,
unless the
after
medic
seeing-
says there's a medical concern.
Yeah,
Also,
so with the
nervous twitch. What is that? What's that condition actually give? I feel like it modifies something, doesn't
It
Gain
just-
and stress goes up by 1.
it? What? What did you
Gain and
say?
stress goes up by 1.
Ooh. Well, no, you didn't fail your panic roll.
I also got nervous twitch.
Did you?
Yeah. So my stress went up by 1, and Gannon's also goes up
It
by 1.
did,
Because
and
he,
yes, Gannon
because he
would.
can see
Yeah,
me trying
yeah.
so hard
Gannon
not to itch
is like-
myself.
He's looking at, he's watching you more than he is where his feet are going, and you can feel it when he missteps because half of the barrel weight suddenly moves from you to him like a bad pendulum.
all right, guys, we gotta stop. We gotta figure this out.
All right.
I might have something in my med kit.
Everyone take a knee. Medic's
Mhm.
got business.
All right,
So
so
I'm gonna unattach myself from the thing after I look into the kit and
yeah,
do I
you
just do a
definitely
medical
have,
aid?
yeah, you do have. I'm just gonna GM hand it. You've got like some sort of cream, some ointment, medical aid. Excuse me, medical aid for each of the 2 people that have it. I believe you should have a penalty of some sort because you do have a twitch right now.
No,
I-
let's just get stress.
Okay.
I would
Everything's fine.
also just point out that some basic medical training. So if the medic cannot apply it to himself, I can assist.
Fair enough. All right.
I don't remember if
That
it's one of the
medical
ones where it
roll
matters.
is 2 successes. So you actually, I will offer you this as a stunt on top of anything added there for the skill.
Okay.
You don't need to make a second roll to apply this topical aid for Pike. So basically,
Okay.
with this one roll, you can clear both of you of the desire to scratch the shit out of your skin.
That would be ideal.
Yeah. However, stress and everything else will stay in place. Panic, the twitch only lasts for like a turn or something like that naturally, does it not?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's like the end of a round of combat. It's cleared out because it's already done its effect.
gotcha. And then I just need to literally a right click will take care of that. That's amazing. Just a simple right click. All right, so I've removed the panic. The stress remains until you guys take at least a 10-minute break. Well, you're on a break right now. Do you want to take a break and try to reduce some stress? If you guys have your signature items, I believe that's the mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make sure the medic's got all the time he needs to apply all that stuff.
Probably check on everybody, but that would be the smart medic thing, is to literally check everyone, not just the ones that mechanically failed.
Yeah.
And I will pull out my flask with like an etched facing on it with a bunch of Spanish on it.
Yeah, I just looked at that too. I just saw it on your character sheet when I looked at the panic.
Does anybody else speak Spanish?
Probably not.
Okay, well then while you're applying,
good.
Then while you're applying the ointment, you can read the flask, and the flask says, "Stay warm with all my love," in Spanish on it.
Aww.
Con todo mi amor.
And he doesn't clue in that that's probably like tequila.
It's not as cool as it sounds.
Well, it's cool. It's just maybe not as awe as it sounds.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool in our sorts of way.
Okay. So I'm gonna check to see if anyone has any loose fitting clothing that is exposing skin, and try to make sure that everyone's aware that poison ivy or its equivalent here is really sucky.
This is industrial grade poison ivy. It was an oil on the coating, on the like an oil sheen on the petals of the flowers. Nobody noticed it, of course, but as you walked, it brushed off on you and ran. Exposed skin at first, and then if it happened to penetrate the material of your uniforms, it would get the tight parts of the body, or where the uniform sits tightly, like elbows and knees, things like that.
Plus, with anything that's tight, it does do a little chafing and scratching and
so
movement, and it's
definitely
not great.
gets into the skin.
Yep.
Yeah, I just am like, I'm allergic to fire ants and nettles, and let me tell you, both of those things. I literally can stick my hand, if I like brush my hand on a nettle, I pull it away, give it like 2 minutes, I have blisters. So I understand how suck that is.
Oh yeah, it's not pleasant.
I have scars on my feet from fire ants, so yeah.
I mean, most people are allergic to fire.
No, fire ants.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily
way to catch the buck on that one.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's an allergic reaction as it is just the reaction of physics.
Well, I mean, you get blisters and things.
Yes, because that's how physics
mine
works.
instantly blister, bleed, and then scar badly, so
Ooh.
I am especially sensitive to them.
All right.
Yeah, we don't have fire ants around here.
Yeah,
Be glad, because those suckers turn into floating rafts of horror when it rains too much.
That definitely sounds like deep, dirty South to me.
Yeah. Pike will look over and say, "Are we good, medic?"
We seem to be. We should probably start moving again.
All right.
Before you guys get moving, if you haven't already, anybody with stress, just take 1 point off. Because you did take effectively a long, well, I guess in D&D terms, it'd be a short rest. But we're not playing D&D, so humor me as I make a horrible joke. Also, when you're done with that, I need another water test. Or water consumption, whatever the hell it's called. Supply roll.
Ooh, I'm doing terribly with water.
Me too.
It's jungle, man. It'll fucking eat you up.
I'm a big dude. I need a lot of water.
Yeah, I've got Foundry showing, but I'm not showing the actual die rolls. All right, Pike is down. Watts is down. Warren is good. Let's see, who was that? That was Wescott is good. Is anybody out of water yet?
Winston is getting close there. He's got one left.
I should probably have Gannon roll, but I'm just gonna say he's fine. He's probably down to like 2 bottles at this point. I think he started with 4. Is that everybody on the water rolls? I think so.
All right, let's hump it.
All right. Well, we'll take us out of that particular page, and let me go on to the next page.
Do we stop, or do we get there before dark, or do we stop when it gets dark?
We're gonna keep going.
Yeah, and it's another 2 hours of walking.
Okay.
Was there a question or issue that you needed to?
No, I was just thinking that I'm assuming we would slow down to check for landmines a little bit more closely because it's dark and harder to see.
That's a fair point. All right, give me a moment here. Let me set this scene for you.
No. I mean, yes.
And this is where the dire bear eats us all.
There's another D&D callback.
Yeah, you
I
started
am
it.
not putting these tokens in any particular order, so if you feel the need to reposition them around each other, please. I believe I need to also figure for lighting. You guys have limited range of view, right?
Nope.
I see the entire
No.
map.
Okay. Token
too.
vision, restrict visibility. If disabled, entire scene. That's weird. This says... That is weird. So, hold on. All right, how about now? Can you see everything?
I don't see anything
Or click on-
there. I just see the whole map.
Click on your... you know what? It's not terribly important for this scene, for what we're doing here.
So where are we coming onto the map?
You are coming on where I have you placed in that
Mudbank?
that zone right there.
Okay.
As you look at the map, here, let me throw this up for the viewers as well so they can see, although it's probably not the greatest view. If you look around the map, you'll see that there are zone boundaries. You have the prickly the prickly trees and then the bushes. You see obviously the wreck around you. Technically your visibility should be restricted, but I'm not going to sweat it on this map. So let me bring up my notes again. What are you doing?
Click.
With what are you doing with the clip? Me too, buddy. Sorry, son was asking me something. Actually, you probably caught that whole interchange. Exchange. I keep trying to say interchange. All right, so you continue humping along. It's 2 hours after the rash incident. The sun is a bit lower in the sky, like a noticeable distance at this point. To give you kind of a frame of reference, it feels like it would be something like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon if this was a normal planet like Earth. And I think everybody is more or less from Earth, plus or minus 1 or 2. So yeah, you would get the feeling of somewhere around mid-afternoon. The jungle canopy has overgrown the wreck and basically obscuring it from any flybys. The ship itself is in fragments with only a single hull section still intact, partially flooded, thickly overgrown with fast-growing local vegetation, and rammed into a steep mud bank upon which you guys are currently standing. There are other pieces of wreckage scattered all over the place in the nearby swamp. You are standing roughly 10 meters up from the surface of the area where the ship... So basically, I'm trying to give you guys a good visual here. The ship is embedded into the mud bank upon which you stand. And from this, the top of the bank where you are, down to the bottom is about 10 meters distance. 30 feet. But it's not like a steep drop-off sort of thing. Like, there's a bit of a ramp-ish of mud. Don't get me wrong, like, this is not constructed. Other than where it looks like the ship slid into it. Like, you could see the furrow behind the ship from where it came down.
Is it reasonable to say that we could roll the tanks down there and... No, that'd be a bad idea.
Yeah,
I'm not
probably...
ready with the barrels yet.
Yeah, your best bet probably would be leave the barrels up here for now or somewhere else. If you wanted to bring them
Secure
down
the area.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you wanted to bring them down, you'd have to probably like the smart thing would be to construct some sort of pulley system or some other way to get them down safely. Because unless you scout around and look for like an easy way to get down,
So
which
So we can
a
see the
ship.
wreck.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
but
almost effectively standing on top of it at this point. It
All
looks
right.
like,
right, that's what I
however,
was gonna ask.
go ahead.
Uh, we're Mudbank. Ship is here, or is ship here, or is ship below us?
It's below you. It's below you. You could
So we
probably
could
like it's
go onto the
you
ship
could
with
go
the
onto the
tanks.
hull of the ship. It's probably like a good 3-4 meters down. I don't have a
So we
hard
could
number, but
we could barrel them on top of it, or is that not going to be enough explosive power?
No,
I
they
don't-
want it on
you'd-
the insides.
you would want it on the
You want it on
inside
the-
to get it the
okay, okay.
best.
I mean, we're going to want to know where we're taking this, and this is a notable geographical feature. So we're going to scuttle these barrels. We're going to hide them up away, and we're going to
Yeah.
sweep, clear, plan the demolition, and then we'll be able to hump the barrels to where we're going to put them.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
So getting down the mud bank hill, whatever you want to call it, is going to take a mobility test. Also, if you want to take a look around, and see
We
if there's-
have climbing gear.
Ooh, that might give you a bonus of some sort.
There are 3 people hanging from trees who donated climbing gear to
That's
us.
right, they did. Donated.
Mind if I refill my coffee?
Go for it.
Okay.
Honestly, before we get into this scene, it might be worth like a 5-minute break.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a quick fiver. I'll throw up the be right back screen. I'm not going to stop recording. So if you're watching this on YouTube, i.e., tomorrow, just fast forward a little bit, and then the rest of us will be back in just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to mute everything, of course, so you don't hear the things that happen. But take fiver. There we go. All right, we are back. I think I hit all the buttons I needed to hit. Again, apologies. Normally I would just let it run through, but since we took a 5-minute, and I don't have the editing powwow yet because I haven't sat down to figure it out, well, you just have to skip through it. Sorry. It's not the best answer in the world, and I freely admit that, okay? At any rate, we are here on the mud bank. And let me throw this image up so that the viewers can see. We are all over on the right side of the screen. You can see the icons. You can see the wreck in front of you. I did some creative reimagining of the Foundry site so it looks a little bit more concise, maybe a little more modeled. I don't know. Point is, you are at the top of a 10-meter climb, mud hill, mud bank, that the ship has basically burrowed part of the way into. You've got these two gigantic 50-gallon barrel QTC, which is basically super spicy napalm. And the barrels are red, by the way, because why not? It's a fucking game. The barrels need to be red if they go boom. My son's over in the corner going, true.
I feel like the first thing we did when we got off the ship was roll them in mud so we're not walking around with bright red barrels.
Oh, no, they're not bright red. They're like a rust red or a dark, almost, dare I say, blood red.
Point still applies.
Yeah.
I want
to take these barrels and we're going to lay them down in the mud. Everyone, make a mental note of where these are.
At the top of the hill. Gannon literally says that, by the way. He's like, at the top of the hill. Got it.
Exactly. See, Gannon's on board.
I want everybody to make a wits roll for me, please. If you're doing any sort of looking around other than, like, oh, we need to put the barrels down. Like, looking around to get your bearings or anything crazy like that.
Can we roll observation?
Wits first, please.
Yeah, so wits roll stress dice.
It will automatically roll with. Oh, can you right-click wits to get the extra modifiers and shit on there? I feel like you can.
Yeah, I mean you can right-click anything to add or remove dice to it.
So yeah, if you have wits and you have stress, then add your stress to it.
I mean, the reason why I asked about doing observation is because as a skill roll, it will give us our stress dice.
Yeah. This first one is more of your intellectual awareness sort of thing. Oh,
then I'm not going to bother with the flat wits roll because Pike's not an
yeah. No, I got you. Medic needs to roll stress, however.
Okay.
And I believe that puts you at like 4 stress now. Nope, only 2.
Yep.
It's all good.
He's fine. All right. Anybody else need to make any more wits rolls?
Warren is playfully dumb.
Like intentionally playing dumb, or is he just dumb?
Well, he's just kind of agreeing with whatever everyone else is saying. At this point.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna blow up this thing, right?
So,
hell yeah.
I think there's at least enough
very
people.
excited.
I think there's enough people that have gotten success on this one that this might become obvious the moment you actually put 2 or 3 brain cells together. Your mission briefing said that about 6 weeks ago, the ship went missing, and it looks as though this ship has actually been here for several months, as evidenced by the fact that the vegetation is hungrily gaining the ship back. Vegetation is overgrowing and growing into the ship. This is not a recent crash. This is months ago.
I didn't make the wits roll because once we got the barrels detached and people are looking around, I'm pulling Gannon off to the side a little bit.
Okay.
So what are the chances this place has become an encampment is kind of my stress part of this.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What are the chances that this place has become an encampment of sorts?
That's a great question. You're still up towards the top of the mud bank, so the realization that it looks like the vegetation either grows incredibly unnaturally fast, or this ship has been here a lot longer than you've been led to believe, is starting to dawn on the group. Now, if anybody is actively looking, if anybody is actively looking around the area, and by area I mean the entire map as you see it, now you can make your observation rolls.
Including Winston?
Everybody. Anybody that wants to look around, like with the intent of looking around to see what's out there. Like
I'm
now
looking
you're starting to
I'm
look
looking
at
for
like
danger.
yeah, now
'cause
you're
I
looking
don't
for like
want Ganon
sight
to die.
lines, where can people come from, etc. Wow, Watts rolled like 4 fucking 6s there on 7 dice.
Duty after this mission.
What did you say?
Watts is getting an additional duty after this
Yeah,
mission.
he is.
He's about to become the victim of his own success.
He's about to get a pair of binoculars.
He's getting a spotter scope.
Yep. All right, Watts.
That would probably make him excited.
Yeah, Watts and I are
Watts-
going to be good friends.
I think Watts is the first one to notice this. Watts, as you're sitting there, you're doing the old shoulder roll. Oh, no, Watts was out up front. So actually, this makes a lot of sense.
He's keeping forward eye on things.
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye behind us.
Watts,
That's how it breaks out.
I feel like this is what happens. Watts is sitting towards the edge of the mud bank, looking out over the ship, scanning the area. Maybe at one point he's taking a knee so he's not silhouetting himself too much. And he notices that on the one portion of the ship that is exposed where you see letters, those letters are not English letters. They're Cyrillic.
Fuck.
They're from Oblivion?
No, Cyrillic. Oh my god.
Stop picking up when this happens, are you?
My brain is focused right here, and it takes an extra second or two. Cyrillic, as in the Russian letters.
Yeah.
That was more for anybody out there that wasn't catching it right away either.
So I've pulled Ganon to the side.
Yeah, Ganon is like, yeah, what's up, man?
All right. Did you read profiles on all of us before we went on the mission?
You mean that was an option? Shit.
All right.
No,
Well,
not really.
All right. Well, I have an extensive history of working places where I don't get to know things. So I'm fine with that.
Uh-huh.
We're back.
Uh-oh.
No.
I need to know that we don't know yet.
Luke, Kane, you broke up a little bit there. I don't know if it's you or me, but one of us is getting shitty connection here.
No, that was definitely Kane.
Okay.
Definitely came.
And he's
Woo! Thank
He's
God.
back to being frozen.
Das
Kane,
Vidania.
whatever
Oh,
you
now
said.
he's back again.
Yeah.
You
you
freeze
mind-
and then you come back. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Would you
Not
mind
yet.
repeating everything you said since you said you haven't read our profiles?
Okay. All right. So
Oh God, no, not again! Damn it!
Gaktela. Sukabliat.
So you froze again.
yeah, I'm closing anything and everything that might be pretending to use my internet at this point. just cause.
Just in case. You never know.
Because this apartment sucks. Am I
Mhm.
mobile? Am I here?
Yeah, you're good. Ever since you
Okay.
started talking about closing things,
All
you've
right.
been good.
Well,
it's
we'll
always
see
when you get to like
when I try to
Ganon,
talk
I
to
have
Ganon.
problems with you.
So he's like, all right. So then you don't already know, but I've been on a number of missions where we don't get to know everything, and I'm fine with that. I know you're a company guy. I know there's a lot of stuff that you know that I don't get to know, and vice versa. Is there anything my team needs to know about this mission now that we're here?
It's a Russian ship.
Das
Okay.
Vidania.
I love the way you said that. It sounds like this is a fucking podcast. Das Vidania. Yeah, no, I think Ganon just does like it's a Russian ship. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you're
Okay.
looking for here. What you yourself. I know what we're here for. Get the flight recorder, grab any survivors, blow it all to hell. That hasn't changed.
Well, given
Russian
the-
survivors?
given the fact that the plants are all creeping up all over the place, chances of survivors is pretty low.
Okay, probably true. And if not
We'll
the
look.
plants, there's probably not enemies, animals.
So we'll look, but because it's our job and we're professionals. Do I need to help you get to any part of the ship to get something that I don't get to know about? Or are we honestly just here for our flight recorder and people?
I mean,
I don't need to know what it is. I just need to know if I need to get you somewhere else on the ship.
all right, you and I are gonna need to make a couple of rolls here.
Okay.
I'm looking for Gannon's character sheet. Give me just a second here. Oh, that's the folder I needed, but I need. Where are you, Mr. Gannon? Where the hell are you? Why can't I find you now? Damn you, Gannon! Oh, generic NPCs.
Because of Pike's background, he's used to not knowing things and knowing that he doesn't know things.
Yeah,
So this is pretty like whatever to him.
Oh yeah, no, I get exactly where you're going. He's like, listen, I don't care what the answer is, just I need to know the fucking truth. And Gannon, on the other hand, of course, has his own
right,
whatever you want to call it.
And Pike made a point of like, I don't need to know what your mission is if it's different. I just need to know. I just need to know what I need to know to get you where you need to be.
Okay, you are rolling.
Because he's very much like, hey, I'm playing ball here. Just let me know what I need to do for you.
And you're trying. Ultimately, you're trying to convince him to give you the information you need to do your job, more or less, the true information
to help him do his job, really, because that's what we're here for.
So you're gonna roll manipulation, and I am gonna roll. I'm just gonna call wits, unless you have a better idea, as my opposition, because I know, like Gannon, obviously out of character. We can assume Gannon knows things that he's not willing to share right now. So I'm just gonna roll wits as a resistance to your attempt to manipulate. Does that make sense?
There's a thing for negotiation, and it gives like the person who's trying to do the negotiation, which I'm doing. I'm trying to negotiate for information, gets bonus dice based on certain circumstances. One of them is, do we outnumber him? Which we do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that should give me a die. I'm also trying to negotiate a deal that's favorable to him, which I think gives me another die.
I'll allow that. That's +2. Sure. I think I'm going to roll manipulation as a counter as well.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like we're trying to manipulate each other, and you're trying to manipulate him, not so much to come clean, but to come clean in order to help everybody, especially him. And he's trying to manipulate you in a way that's like, I can only tell you certain things, otherwise my ass is truly on the line, and I'm not willing to cross that line.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think that's where the conflict really is like, how much do you really want to get from him versus how much is he willing to give right now?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll both roll manipulation.
That
sounds Russian.
It is. So let's have some fun.
You keep your shit together. You have one. No, you don't.
So it's unlikely I'm going to get anything more than the very basics of what he needs from me.
Yeah, and so I did get one success there. What you will get is, the long and short of it, is almost exactly what you expect as far as what the mission briefing was, which is, okay, yes, great. It's a Russian ship. It doesn't really change our profile. We still need to go in and get the flight recorder. We need to go in and try to figure out what actually brought it down, and we need to grab any survivors. And I think in addition to anything else that Gannon says is a line to the effect of, this is probably got some sleeper pods in it. Let's see if there's anybody, if any of the pods are still active, and if there's anybody in them, let's go ahead and either extract the people inside or retrieve the pods, totally. Like the pod and person.
All right. Should I assume that anyone we find in pods are friendly or POWs? So I know how to handle them.
Well, until we know for sure, let's treat them like hell. Honestly, other than the fact we'd have to lug them out, let's just leave them in the pods. See if we can extract the pods with a power supply. Well, we can't do that because that's even more shit to carry.
Okay.
And then we see Gannon do one of these. He's like, wipes the sweat, and then he's like, this is so fucking stupid. I don't know if he'd say stupid, but like he's clearly kind of stressing out a little bit. I think, all right, listen, we need to survivors, if they are indeed.
Hey, just don't stress about it right now, all right?
Yeah, like you see the wheels are turning. He's trying to figure out what he's supposed to do right now.
Hey, Gannon.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Remember, that was my boardroom. This is your boardroom. I know you're calling the shots inside, all right?
Yes.
I'm here to help you.
All right. Well, I mean, none of this matters if we can't get back to Tamatam. However, this ship should have some sort of working radio, maybe? So-
Don't worry about that. My Marines will fix that problem.
Right, but that's still a thing on the list of things, yeah?
Yeah, but it's not on your list. Don't
But
worry
it's
about it.
okay. All right, fair. Flight recorder, survivors, if
Okay.
any, and then blow this thing up. Somewhere in there, probably before the blowing up part, call for help.
Okay, we don't need anything else on the ship. There's nothing else that I have to worry about risking my men's lives for if that's dangerous.
No, I think that's it.
Okay. You need anything else from me?
I feel like the appropriate answer would be Gannon saying something like "Do your job," but at this moment, considering his tone, I don't know if that's going to come out in anything other than a really weak version of the semi-intimidating "Just do your fucking job." So it's going to come out more
Except
like
his voice
it's going to come
breaks.
out more like it's going to come out more like yeah, just do your job or something. I guess, man, maybe I don't know. What is it the Marines do?
We're both professionals. We're both here to do it. We'll do it.
Yeah,
Just
I think that's what he says. And he grabs the water bottle out of his package. He's like, glug, 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 glug.
if anything changes, let me know. All right. Don't you
Sure.
don't have to worry about talking to the team. I'll make sure the team aligns with what we got to do.
God, this is me, the GM, saying, wow, I really hope Pike doesn't die as soon as they enter the ship.
So I'm gonna make sure it's safe to get you in the ship, and then I'll follow you around. So if something happens, I'm there to keep you safe. All right.
Sure,
But we're gonna do a
sounds good.
scout to make sure it's good.
All right.
And I'll bring him back towards the group.
Yeah. And at this point, for the sake of the group, your options are thus. You don't necessarily see any obvious ways into the ship yet, but there is a railgun turret. What's my ping button?
Click and hold.
Oh, I could do that. Oh, there it is. There's the railgun turret here. Looks pretty bashed up. Somewhere around here on the ship is like radio antenna, spiky bits sticking out. I'm not 100% sure where on this map without looking at the other one, which I can do, but I'm not going to pull it up yet. There is an opening. There is like an exterior airlock somewhere over in this area. I think it might be more here. But again, that's me thinking of where it is. Your characters wouldn't necessarily know that right away. But yeah,
I'm gonna look at the group and say, "Hey, nerd Marines, do you know anything about this kind of ship?"
I mean, so I guess that would be what would my Marine actually know about enemy ships? Because both of them probably would know different facets
this
of that
is
question.
probably so. It's kind of hard to know what kind of ship this is from looking at it, although it does resemble, as an overall idea concept, it does kind of resemble something similar to the Tambatam, like the overall frigate style, not so much specifications. It's kind of hard to tell what this ship came from, and unless any of you know the Russian alphabet and how to translate, you don't know the name of the ship.
Okay.
Does anybody speak Russian? Let me just throw that out there. Gannon does not.
My
I
characters
figure it
probably
was.
don't.
I figure it was a bit of a stretch to say that Pike knew Spanish.
I mean, my character might,
okay.
honestly, just because she
Comsec?
deals with computer system
That,
and stuff.
arguably being in the communications field and knowing that your major enemy power is Russian based, having
I
some,
would at least be able to read basic
yeah,
Russian,
you would
even
at
if
least
I'm
so.
not fluent.
If you want to see if you can figure out the name, that'll be just an observation roll, no modifiers.
Observation roll, no modifiers.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, you recognize the word glory, and you recognize the word proletariat.
Everybody's got a naming convention, so
You recognize.
I would at least be able to roughly say that it's probably something like this type of class of ship because a lot of people name by the class.
Well, you know the name of the ship itself, not necessarily its class, and really you don't. You got one success. So you managed to pull out the words glory and proletariat only because those words tend to be used a lot in UPP propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the ship's name,
We can just call it Space Commie.
sure. The rest of the ship's name, you're not really sure, but there is only about, I'm not sure how to spell it in Russian, but it'd probably only be about 4 or 5 letters, 2 separate words, and they both go in between glory and proletariat. As far as the ship's class, it does appear to be some sort of frigate-ish, or frigate, adjacent ship. But to call it a frigate and to say that it is,
It's a frigate-sized
yeah,
ship.
frigate size. I was trying to think of what the UPP version of the Conestoga is, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's not the Accipiter because that's the dropship. I think maybe I do. Maybe
Yeah.
it is the Accipiter.
Honestly,
Regardless.
as soon as we walk inside and we have something that isn't totally wrecked, we'll have a whole lot more information.
Well, good luck because
but-
it's 6 months of jungle growth in there.
So what does Wescott say?
She says it's probably like I've recognized part of the name. I repeat the words.
Glory
then
and proletariat.
The Glory Proletariat somethings. They use them in like half their ship names. And it's looks like it's probably a frigate class or frigate sized ship of some kind. With this much damage, it's really hard to tell.
Fair enough.
Proletariat is defined as workers or working class people regarded collectively. So the proletariat is literally the masses, for lack of a better, easier way to explain.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's proletariat versus like what's the other one? I can't
Bourgeoisie.
pronounce the word. Yes, I have
That's
issues
a
with some
French
of the.
word.
Mhm.
All right. So
There's different versions of the words for the different
Bourgeoisie?
regions.
So here's how I'm thinking we do these breakouts. Winston and Warren, when we find our entrance, you guys are going to post up and protect the entrance.
So you're gonna leave them outside or something like that, or just inside?
But whichever. I mean, it depends on what we're doing, right? If it's an airlock, then they'll probably post outside the airlock so they have better view. If there's a giant fucking hole in the side of the ship we used to go in, then they could probably find hard cover inside the giant hole.
Which would probably be the smarter, other than it may restrict some vision.
Wescott and Watts, your objectives are to restore comms on the ship and to get that railgun working.
I see
Okay.
we're committing more war crimes.
Do you know what made me go break out the war crimes?
I just looked right at you and said, "We're not on Earth."
War crimes?
War crimes. Unfortunately, my camera didn't grab all of that.
War crimes.
I'm gonna take Gannon. We're gonna go for the flight recorder, and we're gonna check to see if they have a cryo bay or anybody who's living on the ship.
All right, so
Keep open comms. Stay with your partners.
One thing I want to
I'm
point
going to
out.
give one piece of the 3 sets of climbing gear to each pair.
Okay.
So one person can lower the other if they need to.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do those mobility rolls now. So it did ask for a mobility -2, but because of the gear, and I just assume that you guys are going to take your time with it, in which I'm not sure if that. I think there is a take your time mechanic, but we'll just make it a standard mobility roll. See what happens from there. So the first 2 down the hill.
I'll lower Gannon and then myself.
Okay. Let me pull out Gannon's sheet one more time.
So he shouldn't have to make a mobility roll if I'm lowering him down using the equipment.
I'm going to make him do one anyway, just for shits and giggles.
Okay, just see if he lands on his feet or his ass.
He definitely landed on his ass. He rolled 3 dice with no success.
Oh wow!
Oh my god! I'll
Pike.
push that.
I think what happens is Pike gets pulled down with him.
Oh my god! I'm so unlucky. I have that's like 6 rolls in a row with
Hold
no
on,
success.
what? You rolled twice. You rolled mobility. Oh, you pushed it.
I pushed it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Make your stress roll, friend. I think you're good.
Oop, I accidentally rolled it twice. So that's only the first one.
Okay. Yeah, 7. Roll 3 more panic.
Yeah,
we'll
don't worry about the
Yeah,
second
we're gonna
entry.
ignore that one. Okay, yeah. You got.
So my stress goes up as I'm just like, stop grabbing and pulling on stuff. Just let me do this.
Yeah, I
Why do
think so.
I
I think what
feel like you
happens.
just upset Ganon even more?
Yeah, Ganon's gonna add even more stress, which thankfully as an NPC I don't have to watch it that closely. But I think this is what happens. I think Ganon starts to make his way down, and probably about half of the way down, he loses his footing, and he does indeed make it worse in the process, which increases Pike's stress because he's like, "All right, we got this. We got this." Oh shit, he doesn't have. Oh my god, he has me. Worse than this, he has me. So he starts to slide down. He slides down, and now he's just like, I think for this scene, I think for a few minutes, Pike is livid. It's not stress twitch, it's anger twitch. He's like, I'm gonna fucking throttle this guy, and it's him struggling to keep his shit under control so he doesn't actually rip his head off.
Do I have to make a command roll over the comms from the top of the hill
No,
to help Pike
no.
calm his ass on down?
No, I think if anything, you guys might be laughing at your leader and the stupid civilian who are now covered in mud.
They basically all just rolled on down this hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Pike just looks at him with murderous intent and
Uh-huh.
then slams a fist into the bulkhead and just goes, we need to find the airlock.
Yeah.
Are you good,
let's-
Ganon?
Let's go ahead and get the other two to come on down now. Who's next?
All right. I guess Winston and Warren.
All right. Let's go.
So Warren is gonna look at Winston and say, "Well, I'm gonna like let you go down first."
Warren is
so-
which one is Warren? Is Warren the mobster or is that Watts?
Watts.
That's
Okay.
Watts.
Okay.
Warren
Oh,
is
Warren
the war
is the-
hero.
Warren is the war hero fuck up. No pants
Yeah.
Warren.
The
Oh my god, that
the
was
lucky...
great. No pants Warren.
Oh god.
No pants, Warren.
Wow. I'm so fucking easily amused. Anyways.
Yeah, you know his
All right.
nickname is forever just gonna be No Pants.
Yep, no pants.
Okay, so which one is rolling mobility? Is
Either one.
Winston?
I mean, both people have to roll, so I guess the first one going down would roll first. Let's do it that way.
Okay. Hiya.
Smooth like butter. In fact, that second
Yep.
one, you can add a +1 to, excuse me, the, oh my god. Unless you want to use one of the specific
Warren.
stunts, you can use a +1 to Warren, his mobility.
No, we're just gonna go with a +1. Yeah.
Damn. Fucking killing it. Yeah, you guys make it look easy. You find a part, in fact, this is what happens. You find a part of the mud bank that has not been disturbed in quite some time. So the mud is settled, and maybe in some spots it's more solid than others, and it has absolutely not been disturbed by the travesty of Ganon and Pike coming down. So you manage to, just like if you're driving on snowy roads, you always want to go for the part of the snow that's not been touched, and surprisingly, you'll have more traction. You do something like that, except instead of snow, it's mud, and you guys make it down, no problem. You make it look easy, in fact. Right now, there's a
Alright,
Marine
well,
Corps
next
drill
up.
instructor going, why couldn't you have done that on the fucking rappel tower? All right, that takes us to Wescott and Watts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Let's go.
These two do not have skills
Oh,
for
this is gonna be,
anything related to this.
oh, this is gonna be glorious.
They're literally rolling base 3 agilities for the both of them.
Let's see what happens.
Okay. Watts.
And I do not have this on the fucking foundries. Oh well. All right. Well, Watts bungles it.
Is he gonna push it?
Maybe.
Amy, probably.
Ooh. All right, Watts, make your panic
Welcome to
roll.
rolling like Pike.
Yep.
Have I been the luckiest one like yet for this game, or?
Yeah, pretty consistently.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
See,
For-
so
for now.
I'm really glad about right now that Watts has nerves of steel.
Yeah, because he fucks it up, but he manages to do it. Not with style, not with grace, and certainly not aplomb, but he does keep a straight face while he's doing it. I would not want to play poker with Watts.
Mm.
Yeah, he really enjoys fleecing all the rest of the Marines on the ship out of their money. So
All right, Westcott, let's see what you got. That rhymed. Also, possibly going straight down on the butt. That's what
She
it is.
will. I think at this point, I might as well roll. I kind of want to push this one too because I want to see how bad this gets. Nothing.
Nothing. I think what happens is Watts starts his descent, somehow ends up sliding the whole way down on his butt, but he looks chill the whole time. Wescott, on the other hand, starts, tumbles, butt, and then there's like knees, there's ankles, there's elbows involved. There's a definite roll.
I just gotta kind of tumble end over end.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. There is no grace and certainly no style when Westcott
I'm just
comes
laying
down.
at the bottom of the hill, looking at the sky, going,
Yep.
"Am I dead yet?"
Yeah, you're looking up at the sky. You're going, "Yep, that's the sky." This is bullshit. And also, 4 of 6 of you are now covered in fucking mud.
Pike's already covered in mud.
Oh yeah, now he's just completely covered. He's a mud covered Pike, is what he is. All right, so now that
at this point, I have a feeling that Watts will have to walk over and peel Wescott out of the mud.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those moments. It could even be a comedic moment.
Yeah, it's most definitely comedic because Westcott is stuck.
Can I like check for injuries or anything, or
if you like? Nobody was injured though.
Okay. So he's
Just
gonna look
purposes.
important. Yeah, he's gonna look important for a second and just kind of like, okay.
He's gonna look
are
around
you
like
hurt?
nobody's crying or complaining. I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. So if you look at the map, you do see the zone lines, and you can kind of sector out 4 major sectors: north, south, east, and west.
I want us to have gone down the hill over here.
Oh,
sure.
So we can look for an entrance on the shattered side of the ship.
Okay.
And
If the DM wants to do.
No, that's fine. I can live with that. Trying to see if
there's a lot of zones marked out on this map.
there is a lot, but if you use the 4 diagonal lines, you can use that as your divider between north, south, and east and west. And as a mechanic, you can check each one of those sectors, those 4 sectors, once with an observation roll, and you get a +1 for anybody helping you.
I think we're all looking.
Well, right, but I think
So I'm saying that we're all probably going to provide a bonus die because we're all.
I would say that Watts would be the person most likely to do it because he's the one with the dealing with mechanics skill, and we're looking for a way to get in where we don't die.
Yeah.
Also, traps are a problem.
Give me 1
plus
moment.
4.
I'm trying to find something real quick here. Hold on.
Winston has a +3 observation.
So does Watts.
I mean, aiding anybody
just
will
saying
only
you
ever
could
get
help.
1 die.
Oh, okay.
Just a second, guys.
Watts has it.
Trying to find something. Oh. Okay. In that case, so actually, roughly where you guys are standing. Click and hold. Roughly in that area, right where you guys are. You haven't. I'll say this: you haven't spotted it just yet, because I believe you guys are actually searching at least the southern zone. Hang on. Okay.
I mean, Watts is in this zone.
Yeah.
He's the one who made the roll.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll for Watts then? What is his bonus? +4?
Looks like it's +2 because the other 2
well,
are
so
below us.
That south zone is basically from here, here, to here, to here. So that's what I mean. If you use the diagonal zone markers, because you got the concentric ones, but they're not quite the same.
Then I think it's a +4. There's one for each of us.
I'll take at least a +2 minimum because you got a couple guys there. But yeah, +4 sounds about right for the whole. This will cover the entire southern area. All right.
That was a lot of dice.
Yeah, it was. That was wow. 3 successes, so you will get 1. Hold on 1 second. Okay, yeah. Roll 2d6 for me. Just straight
Okay.
2d6. And again, my viewers are not seeing my dice rolls. I apologize, viewers. For the total
6
of
and 5
total of
for 11.
You find scattered throughout this area, the southern side of the shipwreck, and some of it's kind of glinting in the sunlight, some of it's just watered and muddy and rusted and whatever. But you find meters upon meters of shredded electrical cable. It looks like it's fairly strong, like it's still got the tensile strength that you could use it potentially as rope. You could probably maybe use like tripwire sort of deal if you set it up right. The electrical cable itself seems fine, although you won't know for sure until you actually try to run a current through it.
I mean, you've got to fix 2 electrical systems.
Yeah. He would point it out to Wescott, and they would work on collecting it.
Okay. You rolled a total of like 3 successes, so let's say there's something like 30 feet worth of electrical cable that you can bundle up and throw on a path or something.
What power generation runs these types of ships?
That's a great question. Probably a fusion reactor of some sort. Well, let me rephrase that.
Here's to hoping it's actually in this portion of the ship and not, in a field a
Blown
couple
up
hundred meters
somewhere,
away.
blown the
Or
fucking
left in
like
space after being scuttled.
yeah.
I mean,
There's probably like
um,
localized
we-
power sources as well, for lack of a better way to explain,
Mhm.
like a backup generator sort of deal.
there's going to be battery packs and whatnot to be able to start the fusion drive. So there's going to be some other.
Yeah.
If we can't start the fusion drive, it's not like we're trying to fly the ship. We're just trying to power up a
Doesn't look
gun
like
in,
this-
in a dish.
It doesn't look like you're going to be able to get the ship out of the ground without some sort of excavatory
Hey,
gear.
Pike's an expert pilot.
Look,
yeah.
I don't want to spend the next 2 years digging the ship out of the ground, so
Yeah, and that's also outside your mission profile.
yeah.
So yeah, you
Did
find
we
a bunch
find
of
a way in?
you do find the what looks like it does appear to be a passage leading into the ship. Let me double check my notes on that specific spot, because that wasn't difficult. Give me just a second. You can squeeze your way through where it looks like the hull has been torn open here. And it will lead into... I'm going to move you guys to a new map. Well, let me ask this question first, because I can only have one map open. Are we all going inside the ship, for all intents and purposes, or is anybody remaining outside?
Team Guardian is going to be securing the entrance.
Okay, so we can all go to the new... That.
I do not own any token with
Yep,
vision in
I'm
this
getting
scene.
there. I'm getting there. Because this one I have to have... Let's get this out of the way.
Why do I feel like this is a really, really big map?
Oh, it seems big.
I'm just
I mean,
dropping you
it's-
guys all on here, so just bear with me for a second here. I know that some of the placement may seem weird. And you should have...
Visibility's working.
Meaning you shouldn't be able to see shit, right? Outside,
I can only see what's like directly around me.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, why do I have a status effect right now, and what is it?
I don't know. You shouldn't. Let's see, what is observer? Oh, observer can't see shit. How do I change observer specifically? I don't remember what I got to do for that. Toggle visibility.
All right,
setting.
don't go too far down the hall yet.
I'm just putting us in order because Wescott is
I'm
not
outside of the
first.
ship, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
there's space for you like out here
Oops.
if you want to move yourself and your.
Yeah, the
your
two.
battle
So the
buddy.
two that you're gonna leave on access control, you can put them like right here, and we can pretend that they're actually using some sort of cover. I'll give them like, I don't know. what is
I
it,
can't
+4.
move them there because of a wall.
Yes, that would do it. Who is the
Okay.
two out on door guard?
Winston and Warren.
Unfortunately, it does not help me because what's their first names? Oh, never mind.
Leland
It's the
and
two
Matthew.
PFCs. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
No. Watts is
Oh, no,
inside.
nope.
Thank you.
Yep, nope. Okay, Matthew Warren, Watts. Yep. Sorry about that. I got it figured out. Nope. God damn it. Oh,
Team W.
you know, the best part is that our viewers only see our faces as we do this shit, which is funny, and also they're missing
I
a
want you to
great
know.
show.
If I die, I'm coming back with a W last name.
Fuck you, Kane. Why would you do that to me? Why would you do that to me?
You gonna bring Gannon in?
Oh, yeah, I need to do that too, don't I? Son of a gun. All right, where is Gannon?
He is standing behind Pike, but inside the ship.
Yeah,
Can anybody else move Gannon, or am I the only one?
you're the only one.
Is there? How do I change that? Is there a way to do that?
Can we just
Give me
call
ownership of the
Gannon
sheep.
stuck to Pike's spot unless otherwise noted?
So, oh yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. So we don't actually have
Okay.
him on the thing.
I've just got a hand on him. We're
Yeah,
good.
we can always assume he's with you.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
got a buddy leash.
Totally checks out. Okay. All right, now let me get my journal page opened back up to where we are now on the interior of the ship. My son needs something. I think. Give me 1 second.
We know that there's people who live here already, so assume that you will find booby traps in here.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'm back. Apologies were needed. You are indeed in this hull access as it is marked on the map. Close all these other bullshits out the way. One second, guys. Sorry.
Huh. The panic condition fell off of you.
Yeah, it was a one and done thing from earlier.
You're fine.
And it's what
Okay.
that funky symbol was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what that status symbol or whatever was? Your Twitch that you had picked up? A Twitch on Twitch? On Twitch. All right. Let me stop bullshitting. Actually, let me throw this at the group. Considering the time, which is not quite 9:20 p.m. Pacific, and the fact that I have a 10-year-old that I need to start shuffling off to bed very soon, and where we are versus getting into anything, is this not a bad spot to stop? I feel like this is not a bad spot.
Yeah,
feel
I
like we
mean,
have done progress, but I do understand the time constraint.
I mean, we.
Yeah, it's going to be really lean on XP. We didn't do too much.
I mean, you'll get 2 because you survived and you're getting paid, and I think almost everybody had a panic roll. So that's 3. We'll double check that here in a second. But I think just based on what time it is and how much there is to do inside, or how much there could be to do inside, I feel like this may not be the worst place in the world to stop for the night, even if it is a little bit
Okay.
early.
I don't think Wescott had a panic roll today. I think it was just Watts.
Well, I mean, don't act surprised that I was wrong about something. I'm wrong constantly, so.
Oh no, I'm trying to remember because I haven't rolled all that much with Wescott today.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Any objections? Because I feel like if we get going, it's gonna next thing you know, it'll be like 10 after 10. If we're not.
Yeah,
careful.
it'll be like 4 o'clock in the morning for me pretty
Yeah.
quickly, and then
Yeah.
Alright,
So
well,
let's
do XP then.
we'll do that. We'll start our outro stuff, which is of course XPs. That is not the page I wanted. I wanted. Hold on, I gotta test the milk. All right, apologies. Let's get into outro stuff. All right. Sometimes we can't tell if the milk is bad until I drink it, and I have Mio, or you can't see it because the camera keeps cutting out. I have flavored water that I've been drinking all night. So, at any rate, did you participate in the season or in the session rather? That's a yes. Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your agenda?
I would like to argue.
Pike
yes.
did, I think.
Yeah.
When he questioned Gannon about, listen, just level with me. What's the real shit here?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes for Pike. Anybody else? Wescott,
Mm-mm.
arguable, possibly, because your agenda is to bring everybody home. Am I right?
Yeah.
And you definitely did like, oh shit, he stepped out of mine. Let me do what I got to do to help these guys who have a barrel stuck between them. That's kind of flimsy, but
And think, well, here, let me help out.
I didn't
for Wescott.
actually
So
particularly risk anything for that, I don't think.
I disagree.
oh,
So
let's hear it.
when we turned around, Wescott took point to try to find mines while we were in the middle of a minefield.
These never one in the back.
Hmm.
True. Okay,
Some
I'll take the
angle on
point for
that
that. I think I spent too much time worrying about my other person standing on the mine. Yeah.
Sorry, my son is trying drastically to get the last few things in that he should have done earlier that I should have thought about that neither of us did. At any rate, yeah, when the last bit I heard was Wescott when we did the 180. Wescott took point, which makes her the
She was the mine clearer.
yeah, and that's definitely a risky position. Ask me how I know.
Oh.
I've been the point vehicle before, and I've taken IEDs because I was the lead vehicle. Let's see. Did you risk your life for your buddy PC? I don't know. Who did Pike risk his life for Wescott?
Pike did all that travel through a potential minefield to be able to allow Wescott and the rest of the group to retreat out of the minefield. He took that himself.
That's a fair point. I'll allow it. I mean, because it might be more arguable that was for Watts, but it works sort of. I'll allow
Well,
it.
technically, what he did was for everybody.
Yeah.
That particular issue.
Yeah.
Because, we're walking around with high explosive barrels in our pockets.
I mean, I like how you phrase these high explosive barrels in our pockets.
Just right in there.
In fact, everybody should. You know what? I'm going to say everybody should get a point for this risking your life because if you weren't handling a barrel directly, you were close enough. It shouldn't matter. It's kind of questionable in some cases, maybe, but like this was definitely a team effort to get two big fat barrels 6 hours through the jungle. Did anybody challenge or stand up to their rivals?
No rival.
No Eye of the
No
Tiger.
rival.
No Eye of the Tiger. Panic rolls.
Nobody's pissed Pike off enough yet.
Yet.
Except maybe Gannon.
Gannon probably has, just not evident yet. Panic rolls, add 1 point if you have already, or if you haven't already. Did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means? This definitely applies to Watts and Pike, absolutely. Watts for stepping on the mine, Pike for clearing the mine. Did you make a significant discovery or revelation? This definitely goes to Wescott. Well, I'm going to award credit to Wescott for coming up with the name Glory of the Proletariat. Even though I didn't give you the full name until just now. Who made the wits roll? Was that Watts?
For remembering where the barrels are buried?
No.
Yes.
Watts did the...
Watts
Wait a
was
minute.
facing forward, so yes.
Well, Watts was the one looking forward while the barrels were buried, and he was the one that was like, wait a minute. They said this ship went down 6 weeks ago. It looks like this thing's been here for like 6 months.
Yes.
All right, so Watts, you can get the significant discovery point. And we can put that in the category of we have not been told everything we need to know. Or we should know, rather. Any extraordinary actions of any kind? I don't think we had a whole lot of any
I
action.
mean, the only argument I could make is belly crawling through a minefield.
Yeah. And I think we've gotten enough points on that
somersaulting
one.
down a mud bank.
I think that was more comedic effect for all of us.
You know what? I'm tempted. Everybody, the 4 of the 6 that did not, that rolled down the hill or slid down the hill. Fuck it. That will just for the comedic value of that scene. Those 4 will get a point each. The 2 that
All
made it
right.
down just fine. Sorry, maybe next time.
That's okay. That's okay.
And then lastly, everybody gets their freebie for the money because nobody has yet had their pay docked or otherwise tampered with.
I'm
And
up to like 12 and 13 points.
sounds about right. Sounds about right. I may need to reconsider some of the awarding of experience points because, or I may just have to give you like 4 or 5 days between missions of actual like legit, not in cryo, maybe like a 72-hour Liberty, and then having like an additional 2 or 3 days just to make sure you guys all have a fair chance to spend some of those points.
Yeah.
I have found with the number of ways in this game that you just outright die, do not pass go, do not collect $200. That like I have not run into an issue where people got like too much XP or whatever.
Do these numbers seem abnormally high to you based on your experience, or is this kind of on par? Somebody just needs to die.
It's pretty on par.
Okay.
We're session 4, and we're like,
One campaign, only one original character survived. The other 2 campaigns, none of the original characters survived. So
Yeah, and there's a lot more. There's 6 other full-on regular campaign missions, not including the side missions. After this mission, we're looking at probably something close to 30 plus episodes in this season alone.
there's a lot of opportunities to die.
Yeah, I think that's really what I was getting at. It was not so much the episode count; it was the opportunities in which one can die. Let's talk about some feedback and any other outro related comments, starting with Rodance. What do you got for us?
oh, these poor people. And that's one of those where I think we're going to be having lots and lots of let's not die in a trap and let's have fun hacking things and repairing them next session. I feel like we should leave like trap fixings out there for Luke's characters to play with.
Yeah,
They
I
need
feel
strings
like,
of glass bottles and chimes and, pits with sticks that are sharpened stuck in the
I can
bottom
see
of
Pike
them.
making some Vietnam War era guerrilla pit traps.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
It's future space nom. Of
It
course
really
is.
is. It really is.
I mean that's
That's
the
this
flavor.
mission right
So,
here.
there's a lot of really nasty pit traps of different kinds.
Absolutely there is. Absolutely. In fact, every now and again, for some random ass reason, they'll pop up as suggestions on YouTube. I don't know why.
I wonder if anybody found those guys in the trees.
Oh, I wonder.
Like hung up Predator style.
I wonder. I will tell you this much to answer that. When you guys were rolling for the random encounters, the 2 that I had y'all do, one of them may or may not have been related to that one. But you didn't roll it. So, but, there's still, several opportunities for more things to happen on O'Bannon's world. Rodance, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I wonder, in our mission briefing, did they cover how long it would take them to come check on us if we never came up to talk to them?
Presumably, it would. I'll say this: it would have been a point of if you miss check-in by so many hours, somebody will come down and check on you. I don't recall off the top of my head right now in the published material if that number was actually mentioned. It's certainly not in my notes.
I know we should have had a set check-in interval, if nothing else.
Yeah,
it's
because you
probably
checked
double
in
that.
with under the original plan. The plan before contact with the enemy, which of course is always a perfect plan until contact with the enemy.
Yep.
You would have probably had like the Cheyenne was going to do orbits around the area, periodically checking on you guys if they weren't hearing from you, and then they would periodically poke up above the atmosphere to get a signal up to the Tam. Now that the Cheyenne is a burning wreck of scrap and dead bodies, well, very well done dead bodies at this point. The Tam will be like, hey, weren't they supposed to check in like 20 minutes ago? What happened? Hey, Camo guy, they check in? No? Let's give them another hour. Maybe they're having problems. So eventually, theoretically, And this would be in the mission briefing. I can't remember.
At some point, when dramatically inconvenient, somebody might decide to come check on
Yeah,
us.
absolutely.
Probably after we find a way to contact them and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, we need
Yeah.
help."
I didn't realize you guys were missing. Are you guys all good down there? How's the mission? Are you guys? Oh, you're done.
No, we are not good. We are not done. Send another dang ship down here and pick us up.
Oh,
Also,
so good.
exploding rockets are not good.
No.
All right, let's move on here. Luke, you got anything, feedback, any outro related comments? I gave you a follow the other day. I don't know if you noticed that, by the way.
I did notice that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't want to spotlight. I just wanted to, in case you missed it or what have you. 'Cause sometimes I miss a follow.
No, it's it appears in big bold pink heart or whatever. And
Nice.
yeah, it was really nice. I saw that. Me and Laros were like, "Oh, yeah." And she was like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "That's the guy that I play games with on Tuesdays." And she's like, "That's why you're tired."
Yes, I'm the reason.
Uh,
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
Um,
actually applies. That might be my bad. I don't know.
No, it's fine. I've explained that it's a super fun thing to do, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you. The actual game itself, my thoughts in closing is I think that my two characters are going to be playing cards a lot next game. And
Oh, these are the two that are standing point guard or guarding the entrance.
which could be absolutely a hellhole, to be honest.
Could be. Could be.
It
But
could it could either be really bad or really boring, and probably nowhere in between.
Yeah, it's probably nowhere in between. I think I put that. Yeah,
Yeah,
look at like
and I
three
think
hands of
that's-
cards, and then here comes Pike. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, seriously. And then it's just like push-ups for the next like half hour
Yeah,
while
in
we're
the
waiting for
mud with
people
all
to show
your
up.
gear on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
teach
so
you a
that's,
game. Spades are push-ups. Hearts are sit-ups. I just drew an ace. That's 15. We're gonna do the entire
Look at
deck.
One packet only. Then go brush your teeth.
All right, so that's pretty much my closing comments. Is I look forward to the next game, and I'm wondering if it's going to be boring or absolute chaos.
Oh, it's
And
gonna
I
be
think it's gonna be
definitely closer to absolute chaos for the group.
Yeah,
Your two characters. It might be somewhere.
they might
in between.
respond and do other things, but the point being is it's going to be interesting either way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Kane, feedback, outro thoughts, anything else? What do you got? Excuse me.
Pike is just trying to be a team player here.
I've seen that. I've actually noticed that. I think when you and I initially talked about his unique peculiarity, I didn't envision him being much of a team player, and yet here he is. Not just being a team leader, but actively trying to give a shit about his squad or whatever you want to call it here. So
Yeah, I mean, he in his training, the mission comes first, Marines come second, but that doesn't mean you don't have to watch out for your Marines. And the more Marines you have, the more effective you are.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
he's got a pretty pragmatic view on it, but he does care that everybody's effective.
I
And
love that's one
being
thing
alive is effective.
Absolutely. That's one thing I remember in the military having very similar thoughts of, mission first, people always. Well, it's really hard to do the mission if you don't have your people.
Yeah.
So which one really trumps the other one here?
I also think it's funny, and I wonder how many people watching this are going to eye roll that Pike is also trying to be a team player with the company man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, listen,
But
I don't care about
it's part of his background, right?
Yeah.
He's used to dealing with Black Ops nonsense.
Yeah.
So he's like, look,
just level, man. Just level.
It's like, that looks different than what was on the brief. I don't need to know what I'm not allowed to know. I just need to know what I need to do to help you.
Just
so we can
need
get out
to
of here.
know only what I need to know to get the job done. And has the job changed?
And that was one of the things that was fun about the manipulation role. Like, Pike wasn't trying to press for any additional information. It would have been cool if Ganon was like appreciative of not being dead so far and like spilled some extra beans, but Pike's not pushing to get Ganon in trouble.
And Ganon's not trying to ruin, like, Ganon, I don't want to give away too much here, but Ganon's kind of here on something of a long shot, I guess is one way to phrase it. And he's not trying to blow his chance. Like, he's here to, much like the Marines, he's here for a reason. And he's trying to accomplish that task. Because
Yeah,
it will help
I never
him
imagined that. I never imagined that Ganon was here because it wasn't super important that he was here. You know what I mean? Like he could have just been like, I'm not going and just send the Marines. But no,
Yeah.
he's like, I have to supervise this chaos.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's not lost on Pike that getting a flight recorder and looking for survivors does not require a company man.
No, it doesn't.
No.
So
And the bullshit cover story of like, I'm the insurance guy looking to see what caused it to go down so we can claim insurance. That's weird. That's not
yeah,
at all
that
normal.
was so far fetched that even the potato was like, yeah, okay, this is Black Ops now.
But
I
that's
just thought that was
literally
bad
what it was
writing
there.
as the
So that
insurance
was
man
what
here.
got put into the game. It's like insurance reasons. It's like that's a military or military spaceship. They don't need insurance. They need to build more.
Yeah, as the insurance guy here, I thought that was just really bad writing, and I wasn't sure what was going on.
It was not. I guess surface layer it would look like bad writing, but I think ultimately what that was the writer saying we're going to give you a very stupid cover story so that you know that this was intended to be a cover story and absolutely nothing else.
Hey, for particularly dense players, you should probably ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Has anybody got anything else before we shut this down? Oh, all right. Are we all good for next week?
Yes.
Should we take bids on how long it takes the first character to die?
I'm actually
like a
surprised we
Deadpool.
don't have. I was just going to use that word too, but
Before
you
the
beat me
next-
to it.
before the-
Luke
before the
fucking
next
beat me
session.
to it. I wanted the Deadpool reference when he got me. You son of a bitch.
But before the next session, we should have something in our chat where we've got like a rack and stack of what order we think people are
We got,
gonna die
like,
in.
Here's the 5 names. Ganon's on there, but only as a courtesy. We all know he's gonna get geeked.
Dude, Pike's gonna do everything he can to make sure Ganon gets out of this.
Watch, Pike's going to die saving Ganon.
Oh, that
Calling
would
it
be
now.
that would be heartbreaking as a player.
You saved the foul, slimy company man who is just completely oblivious to the real world with your fucking badass character. Good job,
Yeah,
player.
I mean, he hasn't done
Good
anything
job.
slimy for me.
I got like I got like a small inkling that Pike is just gonna kill Ganon at some point during this.
Oh, that'd be even
and
better.
it's-
I don't know which one gets better odds now.
Yeah.
Pike
We
dies saving
have a death
Ganon.
pool of what ridiculous combination is going to happen.
Oh man!
Yeah,
all right.
it's all gonna depend on what's
We should
happening.
open it up for the viewers. Viewers, if you have an idea of who's gonna die and how, please leave it in the comments. Like, who's the first one gonna die? What episode is it? My son is trying to get my cat on the screen. Don't mind him. He knows the story.
Yeah,
God.
we need to have a chat for this game
If there is
just
one.
for our just for the death pool.
Oh, you want a Deadpool chat? I'm gonna name it Deadpool channel in the Alien General or in the Alien Cast channel, whatever the fuck. All right, my friends, that is it for us tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Even if all you did was lurk in my face hugger spawned shadows. That sounded weird. Not quite the way I wanted to phrase it, but you know what? There's face huggers in my shadows. That still doesn't sound very good. I'm just gonna stop. There's face huggers in the shadows. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm done. If you enjoyed the show, please consider all the likes and subscribing buttons and all of that stuff. But more importantly for me, and perhaps even for my viewers, come join us on the Discord. Come hang out on the server. The server link is in the description of this video below. Or if you're watching on Twitch, you can always do !Discord. In fact, if you've got a thought on who the first character death is going to be and the circumstances behind their death, I can't promise any prizes. I have no money in the real world, let alone this game. But it would be cool if we could find some way to recognize or even, God forbid, reward you for calling it. What do we got going on? Tomorrow, sad bit of news. Second Star is unfortunately coming to an early and unexpected close. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific, will be the final episode of Second Star in its current iteration. It may or may not return in a different iteration in the future, but that is so far out there. Unfortunately, that's all I got on that. And if you want to know more, come hang out with us tomorrow. Or watch the video 24 hours from now, and it'll be live on YouTube. Unless something crazy happens. In the meantime, that is all we got for tonight. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a dark and crazy place, the kind that makes Alien look silly. So make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. Have a good one, my friends.